Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Saudi Arabia, home to the beautiful and progressive cities of Jeddah and Riyadh, and wrestling matches from 20 years ago. Now, WWE, for obvious reasons, hasn't returned to the Crown Prince's stomping ground since Super Showdown in late February 2020, where Goldberg beat The Fiend. Lasting memories that we can all cherish forever, because there's no fresh hell to wash it away with. So yeah, WWE's time in the kingdom has been spotted at best, full of backstage controversy, plain controversy, undie-dunking G-Berg on his bumps, and matches that would have graced a WWF card 20 years ago. And now, Fightful Select are reporting that another match that had a definite Attitude Era flavour had been planned for one of the Saudi shows, to the point where some of the talent was even flown out. So Fightful revealed that Hornswoggle was reportedly scheduled to wrestle a match against Robbie the Giant Araujo, who had appeared in WWE before as JB Elf, who you may remember commentating the WeLC match back in 2014. To the point where WWE actually flew out Araujo for the match, which ultimately didn't happen. This is just another example of Saudi Arabia, or specifically the Crown Prince's wrestling tastes being stuck firmly in the 90s. Because Fightful were reporting that talent they had spoken to about this had also heard that the General Sports Authority in Saudi Arabia wanted a bunch of wrestlers who had long since passed away to appear on shows. They previously asked for Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior. So let's see if WWE can get into the resurrection game, or just find another sort of sumo wrestler guy to be Yokozuna again. Because the company are reportedly working towards returning to the country for a show before the end of 2021. Their Saudi deal goes through to 2027. Your greatest rumbles or your crown jewels aren't the only things that have been cancelled or different during the pandemic, because we also had a year's delay on inducting anyone into the WWE Hall of Fame, which meant that we had a bumper year in which two classes had to be squidged into the hallowed halls. Now, one of the names making her way in this year was Molly Holly, who was unfortunately upset by WWE when they gave her the go-around with regards to how long her speech was going to be. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, she said, "I was told that I would have about 15 minutes to give a speech, so I spent a lot of time and had 3 friends of mine that are professional writers help me. I practiced it for 60 hours. I have a regular 9 to 5 job, and after work every day, I would practice it while going for a walk. I worked really hard on it." Then a couple of days before, they said, "Oh, never mind, you actually have 2 minutes to give your speech." I cried for like 4 hours. A lot of times when I used to wrestle full time, they would tell us, "You have 12 minutes to wrestle," and then right before we walk out, they would be like, "Nope, nope, you have 4 minutes." We were so ready to tell a story of good versus evil and give the fans their money's worth. Now it's just entrances, 2 moves, and the match, and it would be such a heartbreak. And coming off the back of Mickie James's revelations about how women's wrestling is viewed, which was covered in yesterday's news, this should not be surprising. Never mind just Mickie James's revelations. History also says this. But you would think that at the moment that you're literally celebrating someone's career, you might not be like, "Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Molly. Nothing's changed." Now, the recent WWE releases are still at the forefront of the conversation in wrestling at the Mo, and the other promotions are starting to show interest in the talent now available. Impact has already proven a bit of a haven for released WWE talent, and now, according to Executive Vice President Scott D'Amore, they've already reached out for another rescue mission. Speaking on the Wrestling Perspective podcast, D'Amore said, "I think you look at what we did with Slammiversary last year with all the buzz, and I think there's an opportunity here. There's some great talent and they've got this hiccup in their career. I got mad respect for Samoa Joe and would always love an opportunity to work with him again, both because of his unbelievable talent and his unique charisma, and also because he's just a good dude." So many of that other talent, you look at it, whether it's Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, whether it's Chelsea Green, there's just so much there, and I just got to say, I think there's a chance that some talent's going to move around, and you're just gonna have to stay tuned and be careful what I say, but maybe some conversations have started. And those conversations have definitely been stretching to stars released longer ago than this month, as Big Cass, now known as W. Morrissey, debuted for the company at the Rebellion pay-per-view. It is now being reported by Fightful Select that Morrissey has signed a deal with Impact and will be appearing on a number of upcoming shows. The report notes that he signed and will be around for the foreseeable future. This is his first major wrestling deal since his release by WWE in 2018, and facing all those struggles with substance abuse and alcohol, so it's really great to see him on the up and up once more. Bounce back ability. You can't teach that. Now somebody might want to check the old lock on the forbidden door, because after Jericho mentioned the A word on Broken Skull sessions, everyone in WWE is just talking up AEW like it ain't no thing. Daniel Bryan was being interviewed by Robbie Fox and said, "I have a lot of respect for Kenny Omega." And it's not just the great matches he's put on, it's also that he looks at wrestling different than anybody else, which then caused a bit of interaction from the other side of the aisle as Kenny Omega got a hold of Robbie's tweet and said, he gets it, go figure, right? It's all bants, yeah? But considering that Daniel Bryan has been pushing to be allowed to work elsewhere while still under WWE contract, and AEW have expanded to working with Impact and New Japan, could we? Nah. Could we though? Nah. But could we? Because do you know what? A WWE star has already appeared on both shows. Seth Rollins' jacket. Twice. Because in their new heel personas, the Young Bucks have made some questionable fashion decisions, mostly pleather, but also bought the exact same jacket as worn by Seth Rollins in his dove. Why have you come in here? Go out. Come here. Come here. Give the people what they want, Terry. It's Terry, El Catador. The cat is desperate to be put over. Because in their new heel personas, the Young Bucks have made some questionable fashion decisions, mostly pleather, but they've also bought the exact same jacket as worn by Seth Rollins in his current WWE Messiah gimmick. Rollins tweeted saying, "Congratulations to my jacket on its successful trip through the Forbidden Door. Hashtag embrace..." Trying to steal my heat. Had to get rid of the cat. Hashtag embrace the vision. Hashtag ringleader. As the first crossover star between the two rival companies, this is big news, so the Bucks couldn't help but do what they do best: update their Twitter bio. Adding, "What can I say, Tyler? Great minds, Ruffle. Sorry, we have to beat your friend though. Punch or fist bump emoji." I really think the worst thing about all of that is the ruffle. It's really made me quite irrationally upset. These bastard heels. So what other jackets would you like to see go through the Forbidden Door? Let me know down below in the comments, or, talk about one of the other important news stories. I'll reply to some of them. We're chucking things over to Simon Longdon now for the latest in the ongoing online drama around wrestling, aka SCREENGRAPPLE.
My name is Drake Wirtz. I'm a resident of Altamont Springs. I'm a husband, I'm a father of 3. I'm a volunteer in our community, and I'm a leader committed to fighting the evil of human trafficking and child exploitation. Thank you, Commissioner Lockhart, for bringing this issue to a vote.
Sorry, what? Dude, did he just say... I thought we were doing the mask. I thought we were doing the mask thing. Wait, why are you why did he say sex trafficking?
And the overall harm to our children that this commission has allowed. If you don't end this nonsense and start trusting your constituents to take personal responsibility,
I've been saying the personal responsibility for ages. I know.
You will not be re-elected. There will be a recruit of freedom-loving Republicans that will replace you. You've been a strong advocate for victims of human trafficking through your work with the Lifeboat Project. I commend you for doing so, sir.
Why is he?
Continuing this mask mandate only
Did you know this was about trafficking?
at risk of being preyed upon by traffickers and predators. Nonverbal cues are often a first sign for distress.
What is going on here? I thought we were doing the mask thing.
Identifying potential victim of human trafficking.
Is he crying? Why is he crying?
Forcing and normalizing face coverings only makes it easier for sex traffickers to target kids in our community.
What?
Protect Seminole County Children Commissioner Gallardi.
Why is he crying? Why is he yelling?
Close with the 30 seconds that I have by calling for the immediate resignation of Emergency Manager Alan Harris.
I'll clap, but I don't really know what's going on. It seems really this seems strange to me.
God bless you all. God bless the great free state of Florida.
What?
Good news, folks, the latest episode of Adam's Fantasy Booking Show is going live today on Parts Unknown. This time, Blumps has been tasked with booking his way out of the absolutely bobbins retribution run in WWE, which we all know was a load of utter slapjack. It hits the internet at 5 PM UK time, so head on over to PFK, subscribe and enable notifications to make sure that you don't miss it. Or if you happen to be watching this video after 5 in the UK, whenever that is in the rest of the world, you can just click over there because it's already up. Your tardiness has paid off. Or you can click the video below that to find out more about WWE's general disdain for the women's division from yesterday's news. I've been El Fakador Laurie Blake, your Jam That Champion. Jam that jam. My belt's over there. I'm not going to get it just to do the end bit. Bye!